Chapter 8. Indian National Movement, 1970 to 1947. Nationalism is a sense of oneness born out of sharing the same geographical territory, the same culture and history, and similar aspiration to be independent of foreign domination. Indians had suffered for a long time under the oppressive British rule. The significant feature of British rule in India was the economic exploitation of Indians. Many foreigners had taken away wealth from India prior to the British, but the British drained the resources of India in a most systematic and unjust way. Gradually, the educated Indians realized that allowing them to settle in India had been detrimental to the interests of the Indians. This economic exploitation was a major cause behind the rise of nationalism in India. The rise of Indian press and literature, as well as improvement in transport and communication, also contribution to the emergence of nationalism. Rise of Indian nationalism. In the 1860s, Dadabhai Naoroji started the East India Association in England to create public opinion in favor of India. He wrote the book, Poverty and Un-British Rule in India, in which he criticized the suppression of civil liberties in India and the economic exploitation of India by the British. The Pune Sarvajanik Sabha, Sarvajanik means for public benefit, was established in 1870s by M.G. Ranade, G.P. Gokhale and others. In 1876, Surendranath Banerjee and others established the Indian Association in Calcutta. When national consciousness awakened among Indians, several associations were formed even prior to the founding of Indian National Congress to give vent to the feelings of the Indians. The first political association to be formed was the Landholders' Society was formed, followed by the Madras Native Association and the Bombay Association in 1852. Yet, there was no all-Indian organization. With the establishment of the Indian Congress in 1885, a platform was prepared for an organized national movement. Origin of the Indian National Congress. A new era in political life of India began with the foundation of the Indian National Congress in 1885. The INC was founded by A.O. Hume, a retired Indian civil service officer. Its first session was held on 28 December 1885 and Umesh Chandra Banerjee was elected as president. The first phase of the freedom movement was confined only to the educated classes. The Indian National Congress submitted their grievances in the form of prayers and petitions. The early demands of the Indian National Congress were to achieve increased participation in legislative assembly, Indianization of the civil service, reduction of military expenditure and tax burden, providing more funds for educating Indians, etc. All these demands were very just. They did not demand for independence in the early stages of the freedom movement. Most of the early congressmen believed in constitutional method and were humble and mild in their criticism of British government. They were known as moderates. Up to 1905, the moderates had firm faith in British sense of justice and fair play, hence, they continued with prayers and petitions. But the British turned a deaf ear to them. Then the Indian nationalists realized that the British government was not sincere and just. So, they gradually lost faith, which ultimately resulted in the rise of extremists within the Congress. Partition of Bengal. Angered the many of the policies Viceroy of Lord Curzon went against TRE interests of the Indians and extremists. Bengal, an important center of the national movement, was at that time a very large presidency comprising present Bangladesh, West Bengal, Bihar, Jharkhand, Assam and parts of Odisha. Curzon partitioned Bengal in 1905 on the pretext that it was unmanageable for administrative purposes. The partition, however, was based on communalism. It separated Assam and Muslim-majority East Bengal, Bangladesh, from the remaining parts of the presidency which had a Hindu majority. His attempt to destroy the unity of the Bengalis sparked off an anti-partition movement marked by fasts, processions and the singing of Vande Mataram. Protesters tied Rakhi to demonstrate brotherhood. At this time, Rabindranath Tagore composed the song Amar Sonar Bangla, which was later adopted by Bangladesh as its national anthem. The anti-partition movement spread to some other parts of India such as Andhra Pradesh, where it was called the Vande Mataram movement. The Swadeshi and boycott movements. The extremists adopted boycott and Swadeshi as the chief methods of agitation. Boycott. Boycott involved rejecting everything British goods, offices and education. British goods were publicly burned. Students boycotted their classes and joined the movement. For the first time, Indian women joined a movement in large numbers. Swadeshi. Swadeshi means of one's own country. To the nationalists, it meant the use of Indian goods. It promoted self-reliance and the establishment of new Indian industries producing textiles, matches, soap, oil, etc. Jamsetji Tata initiated his iron and steel industry, and V.O. Chidambaram Pillai set up his steam navigation company. National education promoted was to strengthen nationalist feelings. The Swadeshi movement spread from Bengal to Maharashtra and Punjab. The growth of radical nationalism or extremism. A section of congressmen who had lost faith in British government began to drift towards extremism. This radical faction of the Congress came to be known as extremists. They were opposed to the ideology and techniques of the moderates. They preferred not to get out of the Congress but to capture it from within. The highest goal set by the moderates at the Congress session of 1905 was the attainment of colonial form of self-government. But the ideal before the extremists was absolute autonomy for India. They fixed Swaraj, literally, self-rule, as their goal. Bal Gangadhar Tilak declared that, Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it. The leaders of the extremists were B.G. Tilak in Maharashtra, Bipin Chandra Pal in Bengal and Lala Lajpat Rai in Punjab. British policy of divide and rule. The British felt threatened by the unity of the Hindus and Muslims during the anti-partition movement of Bengal. So, they followed the policy of divide and rule. They spread the belief that the political and economic interests of the Hindus and Muslims were very different. The Muslim League. Through partition of Bengal, the British sowed the seed of communalism. They encouraged the Muslims to form a separate party and fight through separate electorate. The Muslims thought that they might lose their identity if they joined the Congress. In 1906, Nawab Salimullah Khan of Dhaka and Prince Aga Khan founded the Muslim League to protect the interests of the Muslims with an idea of getting separate electorate for Muslims. The conflict between moderates and extremists increased during the Surat session of the Indian National Congress of 1907. So the extremists left the Congress in this session. This came to be known as the Surat Split. Split in the Congress, 1907. Presiding over the Congress session at Calcutta in 1906, Dadabhai Nauroji accepted Swaraj as the goal of the Congress. The moderates, however, had serious differences with the extremists. Unlike the extremists, they did not accept Swadeshi and boycott as regular methods of agitation. Nor did they want these methods to be applied outside Bengal. Ultimately, the Congress split in 1907. Afterwards, the Congress came to be dominated by the moderates with Tilak's followers functioning from outside. The two groups reunited in December 1915. Next year, the Congress and Muslim League signed the historic Lucknow Pact and decided to work together for representative government in the country. Gandhian phase, 1919 to 1947. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born at Porbandar, Gujarat, on 2 October 1869. While practicing as a lawyer in Durban, South Africa, he successfully led Indians from communities various in campaigns against racial discrimination. Gandhiji's method was called Satyagraha, a compound of the words Satya, truth, and Agraha, holding fast. It was based on the principle of non-violent, non-cooperation, or passive resistance. Gandhiji's philosophy was to resist evil without hating the evildoer. Gandhiji returned to India in 1915. In 1916, he established the Sabarmati Ashram at Ahmedabad. Here, he spun yarn on the charkha and wove khadi to promote self-reliance. Gandhiji organized successful satyagraha campaigns for the cause of the indigo cultivators of Champaran, the mill workers of Ahmedabad, and the peasants of Kheda. These campaigns earned him the respect of his countrymen. Among the young nationalists who joined him during these campaigns were Rajendra Prasad and Vallabhbhai Patel. Gandhiji combined political agitation with a continuous campaign against social evils such as untouchability, alcoholism, and the ill-treatment of women. Agitations against Rowlatt Act. The British passed the Rowlatt Act in 1919. This law restricted the people's freedom by empowering the government to arrest anyone without warrant and imprison him without trial. It was branded the Black Act. Gandhiji launched anti-Rowlatt Satyagraha. He called upon the Indians to observe 6 April 1919 as a day of hartal, strike, fasting and prayer. Satyagraha Sabhas were set up to organize meetings and non-violent strikes and demonstration against the act. Gandhiji's call received widespread response. Jallianwala Bagh Massacre, 13th April 1919. In Amritsar, the arrest of 2 prominent leaders, Dr. Saruddin Kichlu and Dr. Satyapal, led to strong protests. Unaware of a ban on public meetings, the people of Amritsar held a meeting at the Jallianwala Bagh on 13th April 1919, which happened to be the day of the Baisakhi festival. General Dyer, the military commander of Amritsar, blocked the park's narrow exit and ordered indiscriminate shooting. Hundreds of people were killed. This stunned the nation. Rabindranath Tagore renounced his knighthood in protest. The British declared martial law in Punjab. Protesters were publicly humiliated, and many were sentenced to the imprisonment, deportation of death. Khilafat agitation. The first Satyagraha movement being suspended, there was a lull in Indian politics for some time. But it was soon broken by the Khilafat and non-cooperation movements. Turkey was defeated by the Allied powers during World War I. The Indian Muslims became apprehensive of the fate of Turkey and its Sultan, who was also the Khalifa, Caliph, or the religious head of the Muslims all over the world. The Muslims, therefore, formed a Khilafat committee under the leadership of Ali brothers, Maulana Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali, Maulana Azad, Hakim Ajmal Khan. Its purpose was to organize a countrywide agitation if the position of the Khalifa was undermined. The Muslims represented to the Indian government that Britain should offer better peace terms to Turkey and should not touch the title of Khalifa, or else they would refuse to cooperate with the government. Gandhi and many other Congress leaders viewed the Khilafat agitation as a golden opportunity for bringing the Hindus and the Muslims together on the national front, and he decided to support it. In June 1920, an all-party conference met at Allahabad and adopted a program of boycott of schools, colleges and law courts. The Khilafat Committee launched a non-cooperation movement on 31 August 1920. Gandhi was the first to join it. He returned the Kesari-Hind Medal awarded to him by the government for his services during the war. Thus, the demands of the Khilafat Committee and the Congress were merged into one, and the non-cooperation movement was led by Gandhi to get those demands fulfilled. Gandhi asked people to surrender all titles and honorary offices and resign from nominated seats in local bodies, refuse to attend government or semi-government functions, gradually withdraw children from schools and colleges, aided or controlled by the government, boycott British courts by lawyers and litigants, boycott elections to be held for the councils as suggested by the reforms of 1919 and boycott of foreign goods. Promotion of Swadeshi, particularly hand spinning and weaving, removal of untouchability among Hindus and promotion of Hindu-Muslim unity were three main features of this constructive program. As a result, Swadeshi became popular, and Khaddies soon became a symbol of freedom. Liquor shops and foreign cloth shops were shunned. Huge bonfires of foreign cloth were organized all over the country and people avoided law courts. The Tilak Swaraj Fund was started to finance the non-cooperation movement. The visit of the Prince of Wales was boycotted and complete hartal was observed in Bombay on the day of his arrival. The government took recourse to repression. The Congress and the Khilafat volunteer organizations were declared unlawful. Public meetings were forbidden. By December 1921, except Gandhi, C.R. Das, Moti Lal Nehru, Lajpat Rai, Maulana Azad and many other top-ranking leaders were put behind the prison walls. Non-cooperation movement. The non-cooperation movement came to an abrupt end because of a violent incident at Chauri Chaura, a police station 15 miles away from Gorakhpur in UP in 1922. There the police opened fire on a mob of peasants, exhausted its ammunition, and when the infuriated mob attacked the policemen, they found shelter in the Thana, police post. The mob burned the Thana, which resulted in the death of 22 policemen inside the building. The news of this incident disturbed Gandhi and he suspended the non-cooperation movement. The non-cooperation movement contributed to national awakening and complete distrust towards the foreign government. People gained tremendous self-confidence and self-esteem. It became the first mass movement. The national sentiments reached the remotest corner of the land by this movement. Developments between 1922 and 1928. Swaraj Party. Motilal Nehru, C.R. Das and some other Congress members formed the Swaraj Party. They contested the election in 1923. The Swaraj Party members elected to the control legislature obstructed repressive government bills. After the death of C.R. Das in 1925, the Swaraj Party faded away. The Simon Commission. In 1927, Sir John Simon headed a commission to recommend constitutional changes in India. The British did not include any Indian member in the commission. The Congress boycotted it. And in 1928, the Simon Commission arrived. It was greeted with black banners saying, "Simon, go back." At an anti-Simon demonstration in Lahore, Lala Lajpat Rai was beaten by the police and he later died of his injuries. Civil Disobedience Movement, 1930 to 1934. Purana Swaraj would never come on its own. It had to be fought for. In 1930, Gandhiji declared that he would lead a march to break the salt law. Under this law, nobody could manufacture salt in India without government permission. Gandhi with other nationalists reasoned that it was sinful to tax salt since it is such an essential item of food and did not divide rich or poor. Gandhiji and his followers marched for over 240 miles from Sabarmati to the coastal town of Dandi, where they broke the government law by gathering natural salt found on the seashore and boiling sea water to produce salt. This sparked off widespread civil disobedience. Dialogues. Round Table Conferences. In the 1930s, the government summoned 3 Round Table Conferences to discuss the Simon Commission's recommendations and to make constitutional changes. The Congress boycotted the first one. Gandhiji attended the second one after suspending the civil disobedience movement. He demanded dominion status for India. When the British refused, Gandhiji resumed the civil disobedience movement. The British imprisoned large numbers of Congress volunteers and leaders, including Gandhiji. Left leaderless, the movement lost direction. In 1932, the British granted separate electorates to the Sikhs, the Christians and the Harijans. Gandhiji went on a fast unto death in protest against the proposal for a separate electorate for Harijans. This resulted in the Poona Pact, under which the Harijans agreed to a joint electorate for all Hindus with reservation of seats for the Harijans. The Third Round Table Conference, 1932, led to the passing of the Government of India Act, 1935. The Congress did not attend the conference. The civil disobedience movement, having lost direction, was withdrawn in May 1934. Thereafter, Gandhiji devoted himself to the welfare of the Harijans. Cripps Mission. When the Second World War broke out in 1939, the British government demanded active cooperation of the Indians in the war and promised a responsible government for the Indians soon after the war. In March 1942, the British government sent a mission headed by a cabinet minister named Sir Stafford Cripps to meet the Indian leaders. It suggested Dominion status for India, but Cripps and Congress rejected the offer. The negotiations between parties' representatives broke down, and on 11 April 1942, the proposals were suddenly withdrawn. The Liberals, Hindu Mahasabha and the Sikhs had rejected the proposal earlier. The Muslim League rejected it because its demand for a separate nation was not accepted. Muhammad Ali Jinnah wanted the Congress to form coalition government with the Muslim League in all the provinces. The Congress rejected this henceforth and Jinnah gradually became a supporter of the two-nation theory. Quit India Movement, 1942. Mahatma Gandhi decided to initiate a new phase of movement against the British in the middle of the Second World War. The British must quit India immediately, he told them. To the people he said, do or die in your efforts to fight the British, but you must fight non-violently. Gandhiji and other leaders went to jail, but the movement spread. Peasants and youths joined it. Communications and symbols of state authority were attacked all over the country. In many areas the people set up their own governments. The first response of the British was severe repression. By the end of 1943, over 90,000 people were arrested and around 1,000 killed in police firing. The rebellions, however, ultimately brought the British Raj to its knees. During this period, severe famine struck Bengal, killing nearly 30 lakh people. The British exported food to meet the needs of their army, while the Indians starved. At this time, the Kisan Sabhas played an important role in relief work. Government of India Act, 1935. The combined struggles of the Indian people bore fruit when the Government of India Act of 1935 prescribed provincial autonomy and the government announced elections to the provincial legislatures in 1937. The Congress formed government in 7 out of 11 provinces. In September 1939, after 2 years of Congress rule in the provinces, the Second World War broke out. The Indian National Army. Subhash Chandra Bose, the founder of Indian National Army, Azad Hind Fauj, believed in revolutionary methods to attain freedom. In March 1941, Bose escaped from Calcutta prison and reached Berlin and organized the famous Azad Hind Fauj or INA, consisting of Indian soldiers who had been made prisoners of war in Singapore by the Japanese army. During the Second World War, when the Japanese army started advancing towards India, the INA soldier joined the Japanese and entered India. He gave the slogan Chalo Delhi, March to Delhi. But the Indian National Army had to surrender to the British after the defeat of Japan in the Second World War. Subhash Ji took charge of Indian National Army. Towards independence. In 1945, the government changed in England and the Labour Party came to power. The Labour Party Prime Minister, Clement Attlee, was sympathetic towards Indians and sent the cabinet mission in 1946. This mission decided to transfer power and proposed an interim government and a constituent assembly to frame the constitution for India. It also recommended a federal government which would deal with foreign affairs, defense and communication, and the other powers would be with the provinces. In 1947, Lord Mountbatten presented a plan for the division of India into independent nations, the Indian Union and Pakistan, even though the Congress was not ready for this plan. The bill containing the provisions of the Mountbatten Plan of 3 June 1947 was introduced by the British Prime Minister Clement Attlee in the House of Commons on 14 July 1947 and passed as the India Independence Act 1947. The act made India and Pakistan independent dominions, and the princely states were left to accede to either. The Act laid down detailed measures for the partition of India and speedy transfer of political power to the new government of India and Pakistan. In accordance with the Indian Independence Act 1947, the British rule was fully and finally transferred to the two dominions. Bloodshed and violence marked the exchange of refugees. Lord Mountbatten was appointed the Governor-General of Free India and Jinnah the first Governor-General of Pakistan. Liaquat Ali Khan became its first Prime Minister. Pakistan became a dominion within the British Commonwealth of Nations. The boundaries of Pakistan emerged on the map of the world in 1947.